Welcome to TriTech University. My name is Bill Steppen, and today we're going to take a look at the AIM mobile app when it comes to using it for physical inventory. So by now you probably have heard that we have an AIM mobile app that is designed to complement your AIM system on your desktop computers at your store. And we're going to take a look at a lot of its functionality over the course of the next couple of months and into the new year now in 2023. But since this is the height of physical inventory season, we want to make sure that you have an idea on how you can take advantage of its functionality as we head into that time of year when a lot of stores start to consider counting their inventory to make sure that they are ready to go for the new year. As always, a couple of housekeeping points. Over to the right is the chat tab. So at any point, if you have any questions regarding today's content, definitely make sure you log in over there. You can click the chat tab next to the playlist and then click down at the bottom where there is a nickname button. That will let you then sign in so that you can say hi and ask questions and converse with each other, because this being a live stream session, this allows us to all work together to get the most out of your respective AIM systems. So with that being said, let's take a look at a little bit of some basic setup regarding any physical inventory. Now, I have done a number of physical inventory webinars and broadcasts in the past. This is not intended to replace those. In fact, I'm going to specifically kind of cut corners during today's session. I want to just talk about the most recent enhancements in regards to physical inventory. So, with that being said, if we take a look in the inventory and physical inventory menu, we still have the process of preparing for physical and doing the counts and importing the counts or entering them manually and so on and so forth. But we now have a new step when it comes to preparing for your physical counts. So you'll notice when we come in here, it's going to ask us for a cycle name. This allows you to perform concurrent counts simultaneously. Every time that you go to input a count or import a count or work with a particular count, it's going to ask you which cycle count you are referring to. So we'll just call this Q4 2022, and then of course I can make whatever selections I want down below if I'm going to be only counting certain manufacturers or vendors or categories or what have you. Since I don't have a heck of a lot of data in here and this is not the focus of today's broadcast, I'm just going to leave it as is and prepare for everything. And of course it's going to recommend that I have a backup. We'll just go ahead and pretend that I do and we will now go ahead and say that that is complete. So with that now done, if we take a look in the physical inventory menu, you'll notice when I go to enter a physical count manually, it wants to know, first and foremost, what cycle count am I referring to? So I would go ahead and select that, and then I would put in my SKU and serial and counts and whatnot have you, and so forth. That extends as well to the report. So anytime you are running a report for manual count or for review or anything, it's going to ask you what cycle are you referring to. So just keep that in mind, that the cycle is now the way that this connects all of your counts together, so that you can then take advantage of that. And when you're all said and done, just to keep things clean, you will want to then, when you are completed entirely with your count, you'll want to make sure that you end it all after doing the updates and run your reports and so forth. You're going to want to go to the Manage Physical Inventory Cycles, where you will then be able to find it here, and then you can go ahead and delete it out. But I am not going to delete it just yet, because everyone here, I'm sure, wants to see the process of working with our app. So let me just make an adjustment to my camera here, and we are going to have a new layout for today's broadcast that I've never done before, but I'm sure if you've ever watched anyone do a live stream on YouTube or anything like that when they were talking about highlighting a mobile app or an app on a phone or a tablet, they've got a layout a lot like this. So This is my phone, and then over to the right here, I now have just it shared to my computer. So whatever I do here on screen, it's going to be a little bit easier for everyone to see over there to the right. So this is the AIM mobile app. You can find it on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store by searching for AIM Mobile. You can download it right away. You can start to play around with it. If you are not yet signed up for our AIM Mobile app service on ActiveE, it will just connect to our test database where you can play around with it and get a chance to kind of test it out ahead of time. But when you are ready to take advantage of it, go ahead and give our sales department a call and sign up for that AIM mobile service, and you'll then be able to connect that particular app as well as any other phones that have downloaded the app to your specific database for the purposes of working with your own data. So with that being said, when it comes to doing physical inventory counts with the AIM mobile app, we're going to go into the menu where we have an inventory menu, and then within that we have physical inventory. When we tap into physical inventory, it's going to activate the camera. So as you can see, it is now basically got the camera active. And the whole idea with this is that you would just walk around and you would scan barcodes, such as this bottle that I have here. So I'm just going to go ahead and scan that, assuming it will see that with the funky lighting that I've got here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it over here because the lights are kind of messing with it. But as you can see, it went ahead and scanned that product there. And if I wanted to, I could certainly scan it multiple times. For each one that you scan, it will basically go ahead and increase its scanned count by 1. If you would prefer that it prompt for the quantity when you scan it, you can tap this little prompt for quantity slider up at the top, so that then when you go ahead and scan it again, it will come up and ask you for a prompt for quantity. And then I'll just say that overall I counted 12 more of these, and I'll just say OK. And then if you wanted to see the details of that at any time, you can kind of see over here to the right, it's got the quantity that I have counted so far. But if I needed to make any adjustments to that, I can tap over here where I can see the description. I can update any other counts that I have, or ultimately I can delete this out. But we're just going to go ahead and save with that for now. So that's the idea. Basically, you would walk around and you would scan all of your products that you are wanting to scan with this app. If this is too small of a window, if you would prefer that it be a little bit easier to scan, you can tap this little button here where it will make this be full screen. And then as you can see there, it's going to go ahead and give you a target with which to scan. So that once again, basically the whole idea there is you can scan that barcode and it will go ahead, and then again, because it's asking for the quantity, it will go ahead and do that. But I'm going to go ahead and cancel that because I'm done counting that item. If you need to have the light on, you can tap that, and that will turn on the camera's flash bulb. And then if you've got things that you can't scan for whatever reason, maybe they're not barcoded or whatnot, you can always tap the on-screen keyboard, and then you can just enter it in, and then it will go ahead and find that item in your inventory and enter it in manually that way. So that's the idea. When you are all said and done with scanning your products, you will tap this little button at the bottom that says Submit to AIM. And when we tap that, it's going to ask us, are we sure we want to submit these items to AIM? And we'll go ahead and we'll say yes with that. And it's going to ask us for a batch name. And we'll just call this, what is this product? We'll call this, well, technically it's scanned as fingerboard oil, but it's really mouthpiece cleaner. So we'll just call this Roche items. And we'll go ahead and say OK with that. So then we can see it has submitted that successfully, and we'll tap OK. And now let's go ahead and switch back into my AIM system here. So back in AIM, if we go, and let's just kind of clean that up there just to bring that back to something a little bit prettier to see. So back in AIM, if we go to Modules and Inventory and Physical Inventory, we're going to go to Import Physical Count. And when we come into Physical Count, of course, we're going to pull this into our Q4 cycle. And we've got the option here now of importing from mobile. And then you can see that gets rid of all of those other elements. And we'll click the mobile button. And let's see here. Let's uncheck that. Normally it would show up right there. It would say the batch name and the employee. I'm pretty certain that this is connected. Oh, you know what? This is connected to my live system, and I'm in my training system. So that is the difference there. But normally it would show up right there, and then it would go ahead and we would pull that right in. So this essentially replaces, if anyone here has used the LDX10 data collector or any other prior data collectors where you had to connect that data collector to the computer and then pull the file off and then point it to that file and import it that way. This essentially replaces that. As you can see, there's now an option of import from file versus import from mobile, and clicking the mobile option pulls those in and marks them as pulled in, so that way it will go ahead and just essentially replace that process. Now, there's one other thing here that I wanted to demonstrate, and let's see if, because I'm not connected obviously to the right database here. I should have tested that ahead of time, but let's do this. I wanted to point out something with the AIM mobile app. So let's go ahead and go back into physical inventory. Let's say we were scanning something that wasn't in your inventory. And I'm trying to see, I thought I had something around here that was barcoded but was not in my system, and I seem to have cleaned off my desk a bit too well. Here we go. We'll scan some tea that I've been drinking. So we'll go ahead and just scan that up. And there we go. You can see it is now asking for an item description because it couldn't find that item in our inventory. So we're going to go ahead and call this T. And then it's going to ask us, would we like to add an image to the item? We're going to go ahead and say yes to that. And basically it's just going to go ahead and use the same camera to take a picture of it. So kind of get this all in frame here so you can see what I'm doing. And we will just go ahead and snap. And there we go. So we'll just go ahead and say we're using that photo. And that will now be in the system so that when you are pulling those in, you'll be able to find those items that were discrepancies, essentially, that were not in the original inventory. And you'll be able to see a picture of them so that, first and foremost, you'll be able to see where they were in relation to other items that were counted. So if this item, this box of tea, was in midst of all of the other mouthpiece cleaners and fingerboard oils and everything else like that, we'd have a general idea of where it is in the store. Of course, I'm referring to a music store. Of course, if we're talking about other industries, the same idea holds true. It just might be, let's say, for example, bicycle seats or model trains or whatever your particular store is. That's the idea there. And then you'll have the picture that will be able to be viewed within AIM as well, so that way you can actually check that out, and without necessarily needing to grab it and pull it back to a computer for the purposes of creating that item, you'll now have the picture where you could go ahead and basically hop into AIM and then go and actually create that item in your inventory so that you now have it in your system for the purposes of accurate counting. So that's basically the main idea with that mobile app. Now, this process holds true as well, not only just for physical cycle counts, but for spot checks as well. So if we go into the physical inventory spot check process, you'll see that there is a mobile button here, and by clicking that mobile button, once again, you'll be able to see the batches and pull those in. So you could use the mobile app 4 just quick cycle spot checks. I used to call them cycle counts. Now these are specifically spot checks that you might be doing first thing in the morning before you officially open up for business. Maybe you're counting an end cap or just a tiny little spot on the store so that you can make sure that you're counting all of your items on a regular basis. And I'm trying to remember if there was one other thing that is in relation to the physical inventory mobile app here. So with viewing physical inventory, this is actually, I don't know if this is new or not. I think this has pretty much always been there, but we can see this will show all of the original quantities and the counted quantities and whatnot. So all of that is still there. So that is basically the main gist of this. Now, let me just come back to me for a moment. So, what I wanted to mention was that if you are still using a data collector, obviously this still holds true for, you can continue to take advantage of using that LDX10 or any other data collector for the purposes of doing physical inventories. You can essentially combine both the mobile app and the data collector and have them work together. So if you have only so many data collectors and you'd like to supplement that with the mobile app, by all means you certainly can do so. And if you don't have any data collectors, then feel free to sign up and use the mobile app exclusively for the purposes of doing your counts. I wanted to mention, or rather my marketing department wanted me to mention, that those of you who have attended this broadcast or have viewed the recording afterwards, through the end of the year we are offering 10% off of the LDX10 data collectors. And if you are not yet signed up for AIM Mobile and you would like to do so, go ahead and sign up for it and pay for the first month, and you'll get 1 month free in addition to that. So you'll have basically 2 for the price of 1 when it comes to your AIM Mobile. Definitely give your your sales representative a call here at TriTech if you have any questions on the pricing of either of those two, either the data collector units or the AIM mobile service. Of course, the AIM mobile service has more than just physical inventory procedures. You can use it for just checking up on inventory in general. You can use it as a basic point of sale device. You can use it for remote service functionality. You can use it for a lot of different things, and the service list on it is only going to get bigger over time. So that is basically it, I believe. One other thing I wanted to mention. I don't know if it is live yet, but we have revamped our my brain just locked up. Our flowchart. For those of you who have been customers of ours for a long time, you might recall that we have a flowchart. It's been available on our AIM help for some time, and for the most part, it really hasn't changed over the years. So we have now redone that flowchart, and it's now going to take the mobile app into consideration. So it will have new items relating to the mobile app as far as the flow of the procedures, and it also has a number of additional little pointers on there, such as, for example, what should or what should not we count. Should we count consignment? Should we count layaways? Should we count this, that, or the other? So definitely check that out. If it's not yet on our, if it's not yet replaced the flowchart on the online help, it will be doing so shortly. You can find that by going into, in fact, let me see if I can just do that here. Let me go ahead and switch back to my screen here, and we'll bring this back up so you're not staring at my desktop here. Okay, so if we go up to help and to AIM help, this of course brings up our online help. Bring this over so that everyone can see it. And so if we go to, technically in the hardware setup, and it's right here, using the LDX10, and we can click here for the flowchart. Okay, so this is still the old flowchart. So this will be ultimately updated so that if we are, instead of it saying using the handheld data collector, it will say, are you using a mobile device? Because of course the LDX10 is technically a mobile device, so that will get replaced, and then it will have a bunch of additional hints and help topics and little bits and pieces of resources here for you to check out. So like I said, that should be coming very soon. So again, 10% off of the LDX10 data collector if you would like to purchase one or more of those. And if you are looking to take advantage of the AIM mobile application and you are not yet signed up, buy one, get one free as far as the month for that service. If you're already using ActiveE for other services such as e-commerce or online contracts or online scheduling or anything else like that, and you already have the C2B API security computer set up and ready to go, technically we could just sign you up today and you'd be ready to go just like that. So you could take advantage of this right away. For those of you who are not yet signed up for any of those services and do not have that security computer, just make sure that sales is aware of that, and I'm sure we will accommodate the time frame that it takes to get that computer in, so that way you don't miss out on any of that timetable for the window of that we're talking about there with the 2 months for the price of one. So I've just been monitoring the chat over here, and I haven't been seeing any questions coming in, but if you do have any questions, definitely go ahead and ask those now. I do want to mention that we've got one more live stream coming up for the month of December. That will be Tuesday the 27th, so that'll be the day after the observed Christmas break, since Christmas does fall on a Sunday this year. Tritech's offices will be closed on Monday the 26th. So I'll be doing one final live stream broadcast on that Tuesday the 27th. I have not yet decided on a topic for that. I was kind of thinking we might just do an end-of-year hangout and just leave it open entirely for an open forum type question session where if you've got questions, you can hop right in and I will see about answering those as best as I can. Kind of like an Ask the Professor type session, except maybe a little bit even more or less formal, if that makes sense. But we definitely have quite a bit coming on for 2023. Like I mentioned, I'll be doing a number of additional live stream broadcasts regarding the AIM mobile app, since that had been suggested and requested. So we'll be checking those out now that I've kind of figured out, and this is the inaugural process that I think I'm working with here and perhaps we'll have settled on. If you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see, definitely click on that poll option up at the top and let me know what you would like to see as far as live stream broadcast topics, and I will make that happen. And I'm going to keep the previous poll answers up there. I used to clear those off every few months or so just to kind of keep it fresh. But I think I'm going to keep them all up there. I think I might have mentioned this in a previous broadcast as well. I'm just going to keep those all up there, and I will comment on them if they have been scheduled or if they've been done in the past. That way there's no confusion about as to what has or has not been previously suggested. So anyway, I think that will do it for today. So I won't be seeing you before Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is that you celebrate. So happy holidays if I don't get a chance to speak with any of you personally. And I hope you all can take some time and reflect on the meaning of the holiday and get some deserved rest and relaxation. Thanks everyone, and we will see you soon. Take care.